You know, guys, when people say South African politics is nothing but a big joke, I'm starting to believe them. I'm also starting to believe the people when they say the current political system that we have is not here to serve us, but is only here to keep us distracted and entertained. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, look at everything that is happening in the country. Just look at the moves that the politicians are making in this country. It's almost as if we live in an alternative reality. Soon enough, we will actually be arguing that this is not reality. This is a simulation.
As the Lord once said, come as you are. We believe that this is a solid and sound decision.
You remember who said joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever? It was Floyd Shivambu. And the EFF supporters have not recovered ever since Floyd Shivambu uttered those words. Man, how can Floyd Shivambu say joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever when Floyd Shivambu was the leader of the EFF for the past 11 years and Zuma's biggest critic? Floyd Shivambu is a sellout. This is EFF supporters today ranting about Floyd Shivambu saying that joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever. And I personally think that this is a very strong quote. You remember even Julius Malema the day Floyd Shivambu announced that he will be leaving the EFF to join the MK party. Julius Malema was very friendly with Floyd Shivambu. He said the door is still open. If Floyd Shivambu wants to come back from the EFF, we'll make this exception for him because in EFF's constitution, once you leave the party, you are not allowed to come back. But for Floyd Shivambu, we are going to make the exception and we are willing to make the exception as the EFF. Couple of days after that, Floyd Shivambu went on the internet, started posting, joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever. Even Julius Malema was like, to hell with Floyd Shivambu. You remember that press conference that he did in Soweto? He said, to hell with Floyd Shivambu, get rid of everything that smells like Floyd Shivambu in that Winnie Mandela house. Get rid of it. So I believe that this is a very strong quote. And once you announce that you will be joining the MK party and joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever, that quote is very strong. And I believe that it ties you with the party. It really ties you with the party like this. And once you said there's no going back, I mean, the EFF supporters, they believed that Floyd Shivambu will be coming back to the EFF anytime soon. Some people actually argued that Floyd Shivambu is still going to come back to the EFF. But once Floyd Shivambu said joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever, I'm telling you, man, even his biggest supporters in the EFF, they said to hell with Floyd Shivambu. That's why you would see the leaders of the student command now referring to Floyd Shivambu as Floyd VBS Shivambu. After Floyd Shivambu said joining the party is the most solid and sound decision ever, even his biggest supporters in the party, they said, to hell with that man. So if I was Jacob Zuma, I don't want to lie. If I was Jacob Zuma, I was going to make it mandatory. If you're going to tell the people that you will be joining the MK party, you must tell them that joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever. Because once you said there's no going back, there's no going back. Bongani Baloyi, as he is, there is no going back because he believed that joining the MK party is the most solid and sound decision ever. So shout out to Floyd Shivambu, man, for creating potentially one of the biggest sound bites in the MK party history.
We believe that this is a solid and sound decision. Today, we are presenting ourselves to Umkhonto weSizwe Party and its collective leadership as forces of the revolution ready to serve. We recognize that this is what this moment in time calls for from our generation. We can no longer sit idling on the sidelines, complaining, divided, tweeting, and not taking any action. History has no blank pages.
So that's it, guys, from the former leader of Xiluva, Bongani Baloyi. Bongani Baloyi also was a member of the Democratic Alliance and a member of Action SA, but went ahead to start his political party, but it did not perform how he actually expected. And last week, Bongani Baloyi informed the country that him and some members of Xiluva will be joining the MK party, and this is the most solid and sound decision ever. And I think that people are I believe that one of the reasons why this move of Bongani Baloyi is still unreal with a lot of people is that Bongani Baloyi at some point he was the member of the Democratic Alliance, and to make that shift from the DA to the MK party is quite a stretch. It's quite a stretch. And Bongani Baloyi a couple of days ago did an interview with Clement Manyathela on 702 about this controversial move of his to joining the MK party. And to say Clement Manyathela was not impressed, it is an understatement. I would actually argue that Clement Manyathela was furious.
What do you make of Bongani Baloyi joining the MK party? I mean, there's nothing wrong with joining the MK party, but my goodness, some politicians will shock you. I never thought ever in my life that I'll hear Bongani Baloyi say, there are so many things the media has said about Zuma that are unproven.
I mean, this is what all of them say when they go and join the MK party. This is what they say. You remember even Floyd Shivambu said the same thing, that the media lied about Jacob Zuma. It lied about Jacob Zuma. And what I really find strange is that none of these politicians are taking accountability for the things that they themselves have said about Jacob Zuma. I mean, let's say the media lied about Jacob Zuma. Let's say the media spread lies about Jacob Zuma. They tried to assassinate Jacob Zuma's correct. Truth of the matter is that Bongani Baloyi and Floyd Shivambu, they are on video criticizing Jacob Zuma. So why don't they take accountability for the things they said themselves, instead of pretending like the media is the only one that was spreading lies about Jacob Zuma? I mean, it goes to the credibility of these people. Is it too much for me to actually ask Floyd Shivambu to apologize to the supporters of the EFF? Because Floyd Shivambu, as the leader of the EFF, he is someone that many EFF supporters were actually looking up to. And this is someone that spent years telling the supporters of the EFF how corrupt Jacob Zuma is. And today, Floyd Shivambu is the member of the MK party. And now he's telling the supporters, or he's telling South Africans that the media lied about Jacob Zuma. So what I really find strange, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Many of these politicians are not taking accountability for the things they have said themselves. Because if I was a Floyd Shivambu, I would actually apologize to the supporters of the EFF and say, guys, the media lied about Jacob Zuma. And at the same time, I took those lies and fed it to you. And I apologize for that. And I think if they could actually do this, they would actually have more credibility, instead of just pretending like the media is the only one that was saying nasty things about Jacob Zuma. They are on tape with themselves saying nasty things about Jacob Zuma. They are on tape themselves accusing Jacob Zuma of being corrupt.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. You know, the founding principles of South Africa democracy is separation of powers, amongst other things, but also the multi-party system of democracy. And we've made observations, we raised it with the chief whips, that it looks like the ruling party is steamrolling this parliament and using it as a rubber stamp of the executive. Yes. And in some instances, even replacing the powers of parliament, the powers of other institutions of democracy. Yes. Replacing all of those, and the executive investigating itself, yes, taking wrong decisions that are not constitutional. Yes. We're refusing, as this parliament, as members of parliament, as the EFF, we disagree with the approach which has been taken by the other parties in terms of this approach. We say that the president must not undermine the constitution, he must be accountable. He must come with a clear program on when is he going to pay back the money. We can't just sweep that issue under the pocket. We cannot be steamrolled through an undemocratic process, and we're party to that. That is why we're saying that the president must give us accountability in terms of when is he going to pay back the money. Not that report of the Minister of Police that says that the people of South Africa must spend more money on the enrichment of one person. We can't be steamrolled towards commission of corruption by a sitting head of state. We have seen many countries in Africa collapse because of protection of one individual. We cannot agree that this parliament be utilized to rubber stamp wrong decisions of this particular parliament. That is why we stand up here to say that we want the president to give us a definite answer on when is he going to pay back the money. Because there's a clear instruction about that and there's no confusion about it. So we need clarity in terms of that. We do not agree with a president who comes here and makes mockery of this institution, and makes mockery and tells jokes here about an important issue of corruption. The people of South Africa are the ones who are funding us here. They pay VAT every day, they pay taxes. They expect us to use that money to fund developmental programs, not security of one president, which is unjustifiably costly. The people of South Africa are not expecting us to be protecting chickens and cattle in Kandla. Our message is clear, it's very clear that we want to be told as to when is it going to pay that money, and that is what we're standing here to demand. We're not begging, we're not asking, we're demanding, because we've been mandated by our people that the president must pay back the money, he must do so.
So these are some of the things that Floyd Shivambu has actually said to Jacob Zuma, and there's a lot of them, and even Bongani Baloyi, there's a lot of these footages of these people actually being critical of Jacob Zuma. That's why I'm saying that if they believe that the media is the one that lied about Jacob Zuma, at the same time, they also need to take accountability for the things that they have said themselves. And if they fail to take the accountability for the things they have said themselves, I believe that they cannot be trusted. I believe that they cannot be trusted and they should not be trusted. There is nothing wrong with joining the MK party. Everyone has a right to join the political party they want. But at the same time, you don't have the right to lie to the people of South Africa continuously. You don't. So it's high time, and they need to take accountability for the things they have said themselves. They need to. Because all of this game that they are playing, that the media is the one, it is the fault of the media. We said nothing. It is nonsense. It is nonsense. These people have said a lot of things about Jacob Zuma. Some people hate Jacob Zuma today because of the people like Floyd Shivambu. How many EFF supporters actually hate Jacob Zuma? Because for years, Floyd Shivambu was telling them how corrupt Jacob Zuma is. And today, Floyd Shivambu says, no, that is the fault of the media. Bongani Baloyi in the DA, Bongani Baloyi, Action SA, very critical of Umsholozi. Today, there are many things that the media has said about Jacob Zuma that could not be proven. And I think it's very disingenuous for these people to now pretend like the media is the only one that said things about Jacob Zuma. They themselves have said things about Jacob Zuma, and they need to account to that if they really want the people of this country to actually look at them differently.
What do you make of Bongani Baloyi joining the MK party? I mean, there's nothing wrong with joining the MK party, but my goodness, some politicians will shock you. I never thought ever in my life that I'll hear Bongani Baloyi say, there are so many things the media has said about Zuma that are unproven. That's what he said to me just before 7 o'clock. Like, what is unproven? His friendship with the Gupta family? Yes, the corruption case is still in the courts. That's fair enough. But there are many other things that the former president has actually embraced. But because you're joining a political party that is so heavily reliant on this man at the top, it's almost like all these guys that are joining the MK, you must hear what they say about Jacob Zuma. And that's not to say that they must criticize Jacob Zuma, but I think it speaks volumes that when you ask them about the MK party, many of them are going to tell you about how amazing Jacob Zuma is, as opposed to actually tell you what has attracted them to this organization. That speaks volumes.
Hi, Clement. I hope you're doing well. I just want to say that Mr. Bongani must just come out with it and say that he's just being a careerist. He's looking for an opportunity to extend his political career. He mustn't try sanitize Jacob Zuma. We know Jacob Zuma. We know the consequences of his presidency. We are still living in them. So he must not try sanitize and make Jacob Zuma to seem to be like some hero of the revolution, some guy who has done much for South Africa. He must just be honest that he's looking to further his career. He's being an opportunist, and therefore he's just jumping on the bandwagon of the MK party, as is many other people who saw the rise of the MK as an opportunity to further their own agenda. Thanks.
Very good morning, Clement. Clement, look, man, we are surrounded by criminals who pretend to be something else. Bongani was against corruption that Zuma was alleged to have participated in. Now all of a sudden Zuma has done nothing. You can clearly see that these people who are criminals who pretend to be otherwise something else, of which is not Mushere.
I mean, it's so... Do you guys remember Bongani Baloyi?
That's why I'm saying that the way these people move, it's almost as if there's no footage of them actually criticizing Msholozi. It's almost as if there's no footage of them criticizing Msholozi. And this is very weird and strange, man. That's why I'm saying once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You know, when it comes to Jacob Zuma, there are people that have been loyal to Jacob Zuma throughout and throughout. You see people like Andile Mqitama. Andile Mqitama was very pro Jacob Zuma. Andile Mqitama, he has been pro Jacob Zuma all along. But some of these people that are joining MK Party now, they were not so pro Jacob Zuma, but now they have joined the MK Party and they are trying to divert their attention and everything that they have said about Jacob Zuma to pretend like the media is the one that was saying all of these things, but not them. It is very strange. It is very strange. It is very strange, man. These people are just moving weirdly.
I mean, it's so... Do you guys remember Bongani Baloyi? He was a star, not only in the Democratic Alliance, but in fact, anywhere. In Gauteng, that's the man. That's the man that everybody thought, even when he leaves politics, he's actually going to have a career in corporate South Africa. Those are the kind of people corporate South Africa runs after as soon as they leave politics. So now he's going to be what? A Zuma protector? Because many of them who are joining the MK Party now, it's like, oh my God, Ubaba, an amazing man. Media hates him. Media, oh, Ubaba. Oh man, it's so sad. I can take it with other politicians who have always put political expediency at the top of everything. But there are some politicians that had a promising career. It's disappointing to watch that they're now becoming Zuma's protectors. Tell us about what is it that the MK Party is doing or believes in that attracts you. But if you listen attentively, even to Mpomo Rolani that I spoke to yesterday, oh, Zuma, the greatest of them all. My goodness. What do you make?
Man, it's very strange, man. It's very strange, but what can we say? What can you say? This is the new era of politics. You know, when the GNU was actually announced, and when the MK Party was, when Jacob Zuma announced the MK Party on the 16th of December, many people actually realized very quickly that this is the new era of politics. Then Cyril Ramaphosa came and announced the government of national unity. And I remember that on Saturday we had the weekly news recap. These are the episodes that we do weekly with a panel. I have managed to get 3 people so far to do this weekly news recap. And we were actually talking about the GNU and the Progressive Caucus and how it can possibly lead us into the two-party state. we were talking about that is it possible that with the rise of MK Party and the Progressive Caucus and the government of national unity, is this at the end of the day going to lead us to two-party state? And how do you actually feel about the possibility of South Africa getting into a two-party state? It was a very strange but a good conversation. I don't know, guys, man. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.